en la nieve, me cago en la cola, viendo auroras boreales, viendo rayquazas, literalmente, porque parecían rayquazas, una barbaridad, la verdad, no puedo pensar en Pokémon ni aunque estoy de vacaciones. Y la verdad es que es como que se me olvida comentar un poco, yo que sé, me cago en la cona. Hola, perdona que te he hecho esperar, perdona, Bedul, perdona. Te doy la bienvenida al nuevo Loque. ¿Cómo que el nuevo Loque? ¿Esto se ha cambiado? Soy el profesor Bedul.
There's this guy there's like a documentary, I think it's on Netflix. It's not even magic, but it's this guy who is blind and he is just so incredible at shuffling cards. He goes through like an entire deck of cards a day from shuffling it so much, but he can shuffle a deck of cards and reshuffle it so that it's completely in order. Like his hands have just touched cards so many times that he can tell exactly where every card is when he's shuffling it.
Wow.
Fully blind, he can shuffle a deck, pull out a card, and tell you exactly what it is. It's unbelievable. The most insane documentary.
Whole documentary about him?
Whole documentary, and all he does the entire time is just he's always shuffling cards. When he's talking, when he's doing anything, he's shuffling
It's like
cards.
practice and
It's the most
so much practice.
Unreal thing I've ever seen.
Isn't it a true, this always blows my mind, that every time you shuffle a deck of cards, that's the first time that organization of cards has ever existed? Like the odds is that when you shuffle a deck of cards, that just the way that the odds work, that order of cards has never before been shuffled into place before.
I think I've heard, I think I've heard something like that.
We'll have Selena fact check so that I'm not just lying to you.
It's like one of those things where it's like if you put a monkey in a typewriter in a room with enough
That the odds eventually.
You know what I learned last night?
You know?
What I learned last night, Raven and I were watching Wedding Crashers.
Okay.
Oh, okay, fine.
Incredible
Yeah,
film.
Yeah.
No, but Owen Wilson makes a joke about Australia and how the toilets like flush the opposite way. And Raven was like, what? And I was like, oh no, that's a real thing. Like if you go to the like southern hemisphere, the toilets flush the opposite way. And I googled it. Completely a myth.
Not true.
Yeah, completely
It's not
just
true.
A lie.
It's not true, but it's like something I saw like a video of probably when I was like in high school, and I was like, dude, that's crazy. And then they're like on the equator, the water doesn't spin at all; it just goes straight down. And I was like, oh my god! I looked it up, completely a myth.
I miss there's really no excuse for like buying into that shit nowadays, but it happens more now.
And that's freaking magic.
But if you
tell you it, and then you believe it.
It's like 0.0. Statistically.
Statistically, when you shuffle a deck of cards, that's the first time that has ever existed.
How long until we get to a point where we will have had a repeat? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we're not counting this blind guy who's shuffling all day.
That's what I'm saying.
He's made so many
He's
different
feeling the
iterations.
outside of his cards, and he's like memorizing the feel with the card.
8
That's what I
8
get.
billion people on Earth. You know, each person's probably shuffling a deck of cards, what, 15, 30 times a day?
Yeah,
Yeah.
every person is
Every
always
person.
shuffling
That's
cards.
their repetition.
You know what I mean?
Me playing Balatro, yeah, all day, every day. Speaking of wedding crashers, Trevor, you're engaged.
Dude, yeah, I'm
Trevor.
engaged. How crazy
Pretty cool.
is that? How crazy
Wow,
is that?
join us.
It's so awesome.
Is it awesome?
It's so awesome just to be able to call her my fiance. Because like we don't have like a date
For 90
set. Yeah.
I love that you're on that show.
Sending Trevor back to Idaho.
No, I mean it's like, cause like I love her so much, but it always felt weird being like, oh yeah, this is like my girlfriend. Like it just doesn't feel that serious, you know?
Yeah.
So like we don't have a date set. We're like saving money. You know, we live in LA and we're broke. Like we're not gonna have a wedding probably anytime really soon. But it's like now I get to go around and be like, oh yeah, my fiance, and it just feels so official.
cool.
It's like no, dude, I swear I really love her. Like
That's
she's
awesome.
my fiance. I really love her. I swear, dude.
Just
Yeah.
people question me when it's like your girlfriend. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
there's like a thing like, okay, your girlfriend, but no, it's
It does have a weird connotation. My girlfriend. People are like, okay.
It just doesn't. It's
How
like,
long? And you're like,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
you have a girlfriend for years.
I think the problem, is that term is so all-encompassing. Like, it can mean so many different like levels.
Yeah.
It's why I kind of like what people have been saying partner a lot, and I'm like, I think
Yeah.
that adds like
yeah.
a different layer.
Yeah, we would say partner, and like, yeah, that did feel more official, but now it's like fiance. I'm like, yeah. And then people ask me if I have a date, and I'm like, no, probably never gonna.
Take your time.
If you think they're asking you that, she is going to get asked so often that it's going to ruin her life. Is that your
1,000
experience?
times. Oh, so much. I mean, I
Yeah.
have 3 sisters.
Yeah.
So when and what colors are you thinking? Like, what should I wear? And both my sisters have 2 kids, and they were always going to be in the wedding. And they're like, so what for like suit? I'm like, I don't have a dress myself.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't. I think I learned that I feel like people in life, it's like the next question that they should ask.
Yeah.
Like they have like a book that's like how to be social when it comes to this stuff. And it's like, that's the next question that they ask. You're engaged. They're like, great, when's the date? Because all they need to say is like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
They can't live in that unknown gray area. So they just say the next thing. So I kind of stopped taking it so personally, but I remember being engaged and being extremely overwhelmed. Like I was so excited, but people were like, can I throw you like an engagement party? And I wanted to crumble and die. And now I'm thinking like, why didn't I just let them do that? But you just get so, I don't know, you get so overwhelmed because you're like, I also want to have a say in this, but I don't know what I want it to look like. And people are like, they're ready. They're like, when's the next thing?
Yeah. And then it's like, once you're married, then it's like, oh, are you thinking about kids soon? And it's like,
100%.
Good God.
Yeah.
The escalator, man. You hop on the escalator and you just never hop
Then
off.
you have kids and they're like, well, when are you going to die?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Wait, Amanda, how long was your engagement?
Really, not that long. And honestly, why I'm saying don't rush, like, my husband was like, we could wait another year. And I felt so much pressure just from myself and like the outside world that I was like, no, we have to. So my engagement was like really a year.
Yeah.
Really not that long, but we could have done 2 years. Now, don't get me wrong, the wedding day was like one of the best days of my life. It really, really was. And I didn't think that. I was like, oh God, everyone says it's the best day of their life. But it was unbelievable. And I'm so glad when we got married. Like I'm glad we didn't wait, but like we could have waited. So it was only a year. It wasn't that long. And yours was?
It was only a couple months ago, right?
My wedding, yeah,
You
I
got
got
married-
married
Yeah.
a couple months ago, but our engagement was almost 3 years.
Wow.
Just 'cause
wow.
there was
Nice.
so much pressure. We started planning early, but there was so much pressure to throw the perfect wedding, and that's something that like really freaks me out about the world in general. Is just like the bachelor party, the bachelorette party, and we're traveling, we're going to Park
Shower.
Slope, the shower, the everything, and I'm just like, invite like. I grew up in like a crappy apartment complex that had like a party clubhouse. and like growing up, you get a gallon of store brand ice cream and a crappy sheet cake, and you just invite friends over there. And that's what I want to go back to for like
Yes.
engagement party and bachelor parties.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
bring one Craigslist erotic dancer to whatever the version of that apartment clubhouse is.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many different events, and all your other friends are getting married, and it's so
a
expensive,
lot.
and it's just been this like escalation over a long period of time.
And you're kind of I feel exactly the same way. I was like, I do better. I love big groups of people, but I personally do better with small groups. So I split shit up. Like the whole year, I was like, I'm essentially getting married for the whole year. Like I'm gonna have like a hangout with my sisters on the East Coast, and that's gonna be like
Yeah.
a bachelorette party, but essentially it's just a weekend. And then I'm gonna have like the Craigslist stripper, which I definitely had.
Talking like fireman, doctor. What was her shtick?
Jeans? Well, actually, I love tarot cards, and my friends, we rented a house on this horse ranch, which I was like, this is sick. And he showed up as a tarot reader, but he like wasn't prepared. He was the wrong guy. Like they were like, this is not who we picked. And he showed up in this like big gaping gown that my friend had from Groundling. She was like, I stole this from the basement, and gave it to him. And then he had tarot cards, and he went, it's gonna be a fun night. You and your friends are gonna have a good time. Let's party. And I was like, thanks for my card reading.
Oh, your card is the huge balls card. Uh-oh.
Oh no, the swordsman! Something terrible has happened in your
Yeah.
life.
Nothing better than a stripper in jeans, let me tell you that. The movement was, it was like he was a snake. He was like, he also was a little little injured. I'm not really sure.
Oh no!
The only time my friends have earnestly gotten strippers, and it was from Craigslist, they were lovely, they were from Bakersfield, was when I won our fantasy football championship 2016, and they were dressed like Guy Fieri. They had
That's awesome.
my buddy put together the costumes.
Stop.
I swear, they had the Fu Manchu mustache, everything, and
Hell yes.
put out a giant tarp, and they poured 5 gallons of barbecue sauce on me.
Stop.
And that was the most contact that, there was not,
And then
nobody
they
was
shot
there.
me with a gun.
It's a real thing that happened in my life, yeah.
That was the most contact?
Well, yeah, we didn't, I mean, none of us were like there for, the actual like stripper part of it. We were more there for the Guy Fieri of it all.
I was like
yeah.
flipped and like slammed on my face.
You don't,
I was like, ow.
Holy shit.
yeah,
That's awesome.
you don't know where to go from the barbecue sauce. And there's a whole like Guy Fieri, like, there's like a trapped out Guy Fieri song of just him saying like, welcome to Flavor Town, and they danced to that, and so.
Stop.
But that was not the bachelor party.
That was just, see, that's the thing is like, I'm so sick of these words of like a shower, a bachelorette party, a bridal shower. And it's like, let's just, the whole point of a wedding is to hang out with your friends and be like, hey, we're doing this. Thanks for being there for us. Like, thanks for being our tribe. Like that to me was the whole thing. Like we didn't have an engagement party. I didn't really have a shower. I just had like a bachelorette with my sisters from home and then my friends here. Because that, to me, that was like plenty. It was a lot for me to process. But then, I don't know, like, I felt like I was, like, not really relaxed. I get really overwhelmed with, like, a lot of attention, and crazy when I'm a fucking actor, but, like, I had a 40-person wedding. Like, I had it small. And, like, if my husband were to choose, he would have had 500 people. Like, he's like, let's party and dance.
It's
And
a
I'm
different
like,
kind of attention.
Yeah.
yeah.
When it comes to this type of stuff. And it's also attention from, like, your family. Like,
Buenas tardes, disculpa, soy el técnico de Outplayed. Hablo para un servicio ya, perdón. Pero para dónde? Ya no vivo ahí. Hablas con mi hermano. No, pero voy, deja checo. Ya te vi. Déjate mando el contacto. Ok, gracias. Ya está, gracias.